Welcome to Quick MCAT Lessons, where I try to explain MCAT topics in 10 minutes or less. Today, we're starting off with the respiratory system. Let's kick things off with the big picture, what the respiratory system does and how it's structured. So let's start with the primary functions of the respiratory system. At its core, the respiratory system is responsible for gas exchange, which is bringing in oxygen so your cells can make energy, and removing carbon dioxide, which is a waste product of metabolism. But it does more than just gas exchange. It also filters and humidifies air to protect the delicate lung tissue, regulates body temperature by releasing heat during exhalation, and it plays a role in the immune response with its various innate defenses. Let's start off with a pathway of airflow. So air enters through the external nares, also known as the nostrils of the nose, and passes through the nasal cavity where it gets filtered by mucous membranes and nasal hairs called vibrissae. After this, it goes down into the pharynx. The pharynx is behind the nasal cavity and at the back of the mouth. This is shared by both air and food. From the pharynx, it goes into the larynx. The larynx is below the pharynx and is only a pathway for air. And so, to keep food out of the respiratory tract, the opening of the larynx, also known as the glottis, is covered by the epiglottis during swallowing. This makes it so instead of the trachea, food will go into the esophagus because both food and air comes in through the pharynx. Also, the two vocal cords are in the larynx. And from the larynx, air passes into the trachea, which is the windpipe, and it's reinforced with cartilage, which you may know as the Adam's apple. Now this brings air into one of the two bronchi, which are the main branches into the lungs. Bronchi divide into bronchioles in the lungs, and these divide further into alveoli. Alveoli are tiny balloon-like structures in which gas exchange occurs. They are thin-walled, and they're surrounded by capillaries for diffusion. Each alveolus is coated with surfactant. Surfactant is a detergent that reduces surface tension to prevent alveolar collapse, especially important in premature infants. This happens because the water molecules lining the inside of the alveoli are attracted to each other. This creates a surface tension, and if this force is not counteracted, this would cause the alveoli to collapse like a deflated balloon. This is different from surface area. Alveoli need a big surface area for efficient gas exchange. Now, the lungs are contained in the thoracic cavity, which also contains the heart. Membranes, known as the pleurae, surround each lung. The pleura forms a closed sac against which the lung expands. The surface close to the lung is the visceral pleura, and the outer membrane is the parietal pleura. There is also an interpleural space in between, but we will talk more about that next time. Now let's quickly recap some of the defensive structures. So you have nasal hairs and mucus that traps dust and microbes. You have the epiglottis that prevents aspiration during swallowing. And finally, there's the mucociliary escalator, but we will talk more about that in a future episode. So a quick recap, the respiratory system brings in oxygen, removes carbon dioxide. It begins at the nasal cavity and ends in the alveoli. It is divided into conducting and respiratory zones, and it uses surfactant to keep alveoli open, and it also has built-in defenses like mucus and cilia. In the next episode, we'll actually dive into the mechanics of breathing and how pressure and muscles move air in and out of the lungs.